Okay, so everybody, I wanted to kind of run people through how to create highlights and make kind of highlight film in Hudl. It can be kind of useful that way. So kind of let's drop or jump into it. I'm going to show you kind of how Hudl works. It should kind of speed up that process. So for all, you guys, you want to obviously sign into your Hudl account. And then from there, you can kind of see your profile, all those kind of things. Now, if you are, say, a player and you are looking to actually, get clips, what you want to do is first go to your library. From there, you'll have access to whatever games you played and all those kind of things. From that point, you basically want to find whatever game you want to make your highlights from. If you had a big play or whatever the case may be. So, for example, I go to the Royals, I go to my game footage, I'm going to click on that game footage, and then that'll bring it up. And now the things are statted, so you can kind of find out what happened, this and that. You can look through different plays, all that kind of stuff. Offense, defense. Like if you're an offensive player, going to filters, you can filter by all offense, all passes, all that. Same thing in defense. You can do passes, runs, those kind of things. So if you're a defensive player, you're going to probably want all defense. If you're an offensive player, obviously you're going to want all offense. That will help. If you put one filter on now, it will only show me offensive plays. So I can kind of see, okay, what happened. So, for example, I can go down. I can say, okay, I want to add this to my highlights. So if I want to like add this throw and touchdown, I can then hit the little star. By hitting the star, that will bring up the highlight menu. Um, Once you do that, it starts to load. One of the things with these bars here is that you can condense it. So like I can make the highlight start later if I want, or I can make it start earlier depending on where I slide that. So I might do it like there, throw that, and I can also cut off the back end. So like this highlight's too long. I want the replay. I'm just gonna say, okay, awesome play. I'm gonna get right there. So at that point, now I have this highlight. So I can save highlight. And the cool thing is adding a spot shadow. So what the spot shadow will do is it will stop the frame at that point. If I want to, and you can decide the style and size of it. The style. Generally, you're gonna probably want this unless you're wanting to like you do this like you are highlighting the player like that as opposed to doing the circular, which it circles the player. Either way, it's going to pause your highlight film so that the refs, or not refs, but whoever the reps are, know who was actually in that highlight. So you'll find the frame when you like it. Like, okay, I'm going to do it right here or something. Like, okay. All right, so maybe like right here. I'm going to pause it. All right. Maybe, or else, yeah, go right there. So once I do, now that's saved. Now I can look at the preview of the clip. Boom. Now when you go into editing, you can make it look a lot fancier. But now that highlight's created. Um, Same thing. So now I can save it. Assuming I did it right. That highlight should pretty much be set up like that. So it'll take a little while to like scroll and save, depending on your internet connection, everything else. Once that is, now that highlight's added, now I can find other highlights in here. Let's see what else noted. Something like that. Oh, so yeah. So okay, well maybe I want this one. Yeah. So like okay. So now I want to add this. It's the same process. So you go to the little star button, and from there it should pop up your little menu. I don't need a whole bunch. I don't need like all that pre-play stuff. It's a highlight reel. It's not a show you what the formation is. Here we go. I started off there, throw it down, pop. This case, maybe I want the replay instead. So like, let's say I want the replay instead of the full play. And this particular play has one. I could also start here. I can go somewhere like that. And I could save it right like that. Make them a highlight. If I want both, I'm like, hey, I like both parts of that play. It's gonna be a longer replay, but I could save it and say, okay, I'm gonna start back pedal right about here, throw it, and there. So now I save it, and it's the same thing. Spot shadow it. This will pause the film momentarily. Bring the spot shadow. I can change the size to make sure it's not too small. And so I'll go back. Maybe go like that. Make sure that way when it's on the replay, it won't be too small. And go in between. Actually do the other style. So you guys can see the difference. So we'll do a small one. Wow. All right. So now I can save it. So once I do that, the thing will pop up. Where's the Royals? That's fine. So confirm. I'm not going to share it. I don't care. So I've added those. So like after that I got hurt. Yeah, because that was where I got hurt. So you can kind of look through the plays, find the things that has your stuff. One way, if we annotate everything, is you can also should be able to go to info, and I can go to stat info. So if I go to stat info, let's see if we pull this up like I'm hoping. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so see, like a lot of times I can actually see who did what, right? So I can see who the rusher was or the passer was. If I want to like solidify my stats and like find something specifically that pertains to me, or tackler 1 or tackler 2, depending on who's there first and everything else. A lot of times you can sort them by this. So if I hit the category, it's gonna sort should sort categorically. Although I'm in offensive type of sort because I have the filter on. But like if I want to do passer, for example, okay, so now all the plays that have Lavish as the passer are going to come up. And all the plays that have me as the passer are going to come up right in there. So I can find those plays. And if I want to if you want to do additional filters, instead of doing quick filters like I did right there, you can go to new filters and you can go into for specific things. So I could go, for example, if I was a running back or receiver. So I go receiver, and the conditions is, for example. So now it'll filter and it'll show me all the plays that Peanut was the receiver, whether it was targeted, it was incomplete, or whatever the case may be. So now if I want to find those, I can see how many yards were gained for these passes, and I can click on it. So once again, hit the star. It makes it a little bit easier. Not every game may have this level of detail, but I try to get that amount of detail for you guys so that you guys can make highlight films very easily and find your stuff instead of having to search play by play. But either way, whether you do that or search play by play, once you find the play that you like, you hit the star button, you can highlight yourself, and from there you should be good to go. You just pull the sliders one way or another to condense the play, make it a little bit faster, and that's pretty much it. There you go. Now, let's say you have done that, you have highlights from throughout the season, maybe past highlights for other stuff. Now, in order to make a highlight film, you go to your highlights. Once you go to your highlights, you click on that. That's going to take you to all the highlights that you have saved from your different stuff that you've done. So it will show you like highlights from this season. It'll show you like highlights from past seasons, all the little things all your big plays, everything else, highlight videos, all that kind of stuff. So once you have that collection of nice clips of things that you've done, you can add to things that you already have. And in order to do that, if you already have a highlight clip, you just want to add like something new to it. All you have to really do is go into your edit. So, for example, if I had another play to add to this, right? So I go into edit. Once you're in the edit, this, it allows you to pick music. So like anytime, if you want to add like music, you can listen to them by hitting the buttons, and it will give you the sound. If you that music, whatever the music is, you click the check mark and it will add it to your reel. One of the downsides to the way Hudl's thing works is it doesn't tell you beforehand how long the music is. Sometimes you might need multiple music if your highlights are long. But generally, if you're trying to do scout stuff, it should be fairly quick. You don't really need it to be super long that way. So like once you do that, like anytime you can then order these clips based on however you want. I find that like if I'm gonna order and then see, you notice how like with this highlight, it shows a different looking circle effect. That circle effect is based on the theme. So like depending on what theme you select, for example, if I go maybe I can't remember which theme I have at current. Okay, so it's on silver right now. Maybe I'm gonna go this style. So now if I play a play, it's gonna show a different effect for the circle, right? And then that play is now going to show it like that. So basically that's how you do it. Whatever type circle or effect thing that you like the best, you can name the thing by just clicking up top. You change the theme, it will change how plays circle. So that's just something to keep in mind. So generally if see if I have a circle on this one. I don't think I had a circle on that one. Oh well. But yeah, if I could actually find one that has a circle, it kind of show you, I guess, kind of how that looks. Oh, but anyways, yeah. So once you do that, you'll get music, and once you're good with it, you hit the publish. Once you hit the publish, and it changes, you're gonna get a full on clip that you can then share, and like this has a built-in link. So if you need to send this out to a scout or whatever the case may be, obviously the music that you put in it, the little background kind of thing or whatever, you can always mute it by hitting the X. It's going to be more up to your viewers whether they want to mute it or whatever the case may be. But essentially, once you have all that ready, all you have to do to actually share this to somebody else is you just hit the share video. It has a Twitter link. It has all these other things. If you just want the website link, just hit link and it'll copy. Then from there, all you have to do is just basically, you can copy and paste. You can copy and paste it to web browser. You can copy and paste it to website. You can copy and paste it to your email. You could send it to yourself and then message it through a link, like text message or something. Basically, anybody that has the link should be able to actually access it, and it'll pop you up this little picture. So that's basically how you would send those kind of things. However, like say you wanted to do something like, okay, I want to make a brand new highlight, right? So that's if one's already done. It's going to take a moment to process. Keep that in mind anytime you make a new highlight. But what you do is you go to create. So you would title it test highlights 2022. Sure. I'll go highlights demo. 2022. All right, so like you give it a name. Now it'll show up as, you have all these options, different stuff. So different effects. You can play through it and kind of see what each one does. Let me go orange. All right. So once you do that, that's where you get these. So you add clips. So anytime you want to add something video-wise, pictures, you can add if you have personal photos that you want to add in. Obviously, you want to keep it professional. Same with slides. So slides allow you to add titles. So kind of like how in the other video I had like number 1, number 5, and it's counting down type of a thing. That was through the slides mechanic. A lot of times you're going to want some kind of title page. Test. So I can do something like that. So now if I add that, I can control where I order this by moving it on the bottom, but I can just add it there. So that will give me like a title slide for this. Now, anything that I have highlights, I can go far back as whenever, but which is part of the reason why you want to highlight stuff during the season, because even if you no longer have access to the team's library, you will always have access to your highlights. So from there, you select which ones you want. You can add those clips. Say, okay, well, I want to add these. Oh, that's actually interesting. So no one can see that. Yeah, fascinating. Okay, well, yeah. That is super fascinating. Okay, at any rate, I've never seen that before, so that kind of threw me off. But so once I do all that kind of stuff, then I can be like, oh yeah, what's it, whatever, music, whatever. All right, so yeah, so once you add the music, it's gonna have this music bar on the bottom. If you have clips, you'll see it, before. But once then, you can look at the clips. You can also edit clips further. So like you may have already edited those clips and have your highlight kind of set how you want. But you can also go into these and edit it again and trim it again. You can change also where the highlight happens. So see in this, it shows it happening there. I can also add words to this. Like, I don't know what I want to add, but either way I could. I think I can. At least I have not really played with that. Yeah. But I think I could actually type something in. Yeah. I'm just gonna type it in up here. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So because I feel like 78. Yes, and see then I like, oh, if I need to take it or whatever. Then I can go done. So now when this thing pops up, it'll do the little circle. Then pop that up, words. And I think I can also mess with how long it is. I don't usually ever mess with those type of things, but you can. Now the big thing is too, is you can reorder. So like if you have multiple games, you may not want to have the same film from the same game over and over. So you have highlights from a bunch of different games. You can kind of pull them and synchronize them so that I'm not playing the same game's highlights back to back. So it's like, okay, this game I can do, this highlight's going to be there. Don't know about that private clip thing. That is annoying. Let's see if I can edit this. Okay, so okay, yeah. So you can see on this, for example, if I pause it. See, so that's how the little thing looks in this reticle. So I might need to do some adjustment of it, as you can see. Or I might make it bigger, whatever the case may be. But you can edit stuff post to like better fit what your setup is. So now I can do that. I don't know why this is private. That's really annoying. Yeah. But let me see. Let me see. I'm curious if I edit it, if I can still have it in my highlight film. Oh, so like if I want to like add something to that and see, you can, when you add something, I can change how it looks. So I have options as far as on the ground thing. If I want an explosion, bullseye, watch this, all that stuff. So like you can do that. You can edit those, and then you just pull it if you want to, depending on where you want it in the film. So if I want to go like, watch this, then it will slow down that clip for a moment, and then there, I think I can also trim this. So like if I want to trim this, I'm like, oh, I don't need this beginning part of this play, or like the fact that it was a bad read, but I should have given the ball. Running back. I could start it a little bit. I could start it a little bit later, like there. There you go. And then boom. And then I can cut it. Go done. The same thing with this, for example. If I want to, mess with this, I don't want that entire play. So that's the thing. Like a lot of these, they'll show you the entire play, but you may not want the entire play. Now, if I don't want like say I don't want this view of it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is too far away, or it isn't the right look, or whatever the case may be. I don't want it anymore. Just hit the delete, and then it allows you to remove a clip. But once you have it all set up, you just hit publish. And then it'll say you're published and saved to your profile. Then you can return to your highlights. Generally speaking, it's going to take a little bit to refresh, and it probably will be processing. Depending on how many clips, a lot of times you get like messages that'll say processing. So you have to kind of wait a little bit. In this case, I can see it's showing up as it's on there, but let's give it a second, and it should probably populate. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, there we go. So now it is rendering. So it'll take a moment, but that gives you pretty much the basics. From there, you pretty much do whatever you want. Once things are ready to go and you give it a little bit, pretty much then you just want to refresh your screen, and you should be kind of good to go and start. They usually give it about 5, maybe 10 minutes. Either way, once you have that up, then you should be able to click on it, and from there, you can kind of look at how it turned out. And if it's where you like it, then all you have to do is you're good to share. If there's things that you don't like about it, you can go back to the process earlier, and like we discussed, go into there, edit it. Maybe I don't like music or how it cut, or just I want to trim something off, or what. All that stuff should be doable right in the screen. And so basically you go back in, and that's as easy. That's basically how it is. I mean, the hardest part is just not being lazy and highlighting plays that you did. But I mean, if you actually care about plays that you did and care about making a highlight film to show up your stuff, then that should go without saying. Obviously, there's an upside if you're trying to go to the next level, so you might as well learn how to use basic stuff to do that. So that's a run through. There you go. That tells a little bit about everything and all the different stuff and things you can do, and how to set up yourself with highlight films and otherwise. So thanks for watching. If anyone has any questions, feel free to hit me up or shoot me a message in the player chat. All right. Talk to you guys later.